Hey guys, welcome to another recap of Dancing with the Stars. It's week 2, and last week the Hoff got hassled. Bye-bye. Alright, so this week the S hit the fan. It actually got a little bit hard, and the celebrities were like, this is almost a little bit too much like work. I don't know if I can handle this. So this week they did have 2 hard dances, the Quickstep and the Jive. Very demanding dances. But did anybody notice how goofy Jennifer Grey was acting, like in the beginning and like all the asides and everything? She was all like, she could not contain it. Honey, save some for the dance. You're going to use it all up. All right, so starting the show, Rick Fox and Cheryl Burke with their Jive. He's got a bad foot, and that's bad news because the Jive is a very demanding dance on the feet. And one move out of the performance, it almost looked like it was a mistake. Like he was almost going to decapitate her with his giant leg, but I guess it was supposed to happen because no one mentioned it. But as last week, he was kind of stompy, and they resorted to the creative choreography, when he like lifted up her dress and it said tush, but he kind of made up for it with his personality, so they ended up with a 21. Up next was Florence, Henderson, and Corky Ballas. I love Corky. They had a quick step, and during her interview, it was like, it's a lot like running. It's running. Well, it was a lot like running, Florence, because you weren't really dancing. I guess it was respectable for a lady of her age. Even though there was a couple slip-ups, it was pretty good. She ended up with a 19. Thought the judges were a little harsh on her, but whatever. Brandy and Maksim, they had a Jive, and she said that she's going to need therapy after this is all over, after like having to work with Max. I think he's going to need it way longer than you are, honey. I was really disappointed with her performance. I thought that she was going to, come out there and rock it out because she was so energetic last week and like so focused. And this week it was like a snooze fest. The energy was lukewarm, and her solo was bordering on lame. She ended up with a 21. All right, Michael Bolton and Chelsea Hightower with their Jive. He was sick this week. He had laryngitis. But he was such a stiff out there. He barely even had a pulse. I don't know if it was because he was sick or whether he's just a stiff. He should have stayed in the doghouse. They had this whole doghouse theme where he came like crawling out. It was... Poor Chelsea. I mean, come on. This guy, he barely had a pulse. And Bruno said it was the worst Jive that he had ever seen in 11 seasons. And I'm going to have to agree with Bruno. Almost as bad was Burke's question in the stew room in the back. It was like, how did you come up with the doghouse theme? Hello, can someone please tell her that the name of the song was Hound Dog? They ended up with a 12. I'm kind of disappointed that he didn't go last week because I was counting on him going last week. I wanted to taunt David Hasselhoff a few more weeks. I'm sorry. All right, so Audrina, Patridge, and Tony Dovolani with their quick step. She had a little bit of an emotional week. She's not spending enough time with her family and friends, like on the hills when they just stand there and stare at each other and not talk. Very important. All right, so I thought she did a really great job. Despite one tiny little slip up, Tony, they had a clip of him saying, if this routine doesn't pull 8s, I'm going to wax my legs. Well, unfortunately for Tony, it fell short. It only got 2 8s and a 7 for a total score of 23. So get out the wax. All right, they announced the new Bachelor, Brad Womack. Are you kidding me? Is he the only guy that you got left in the stable there that could pass the herpes test? I know they asked Chris Lambton, but he said no, smartly. But Brad, really? All right, so Jennifer Grey and Derek Hough were up next, and she is a cancer survivor. I was really surprised to hear that. The show actually saved her life. She went to go get a physical for the show, and they found cancer on her spine. She had 4 surgeries, and now she's cancer-free. Hopefully, Jennifer. All right, so she rocked it out. She must have been down in the 5-hour energy drink because she was really good, I thought. She laid down on the floor at the end of her routine, too. It was totally exhausting. She left it all out on the floor. That's what that means when they say that. All right, so I really think she got robbed by the judges, though. They only ended up with a 24. That was pretty sad. I think there should have been 1 or 2 nines in there. Come on, people. All right, so then there was some booing in the ballroom, and Burke was all like, "There's booing in the ballroom. What's going on? I guess we'll find out." Obviously, it was for Sarah Palin. It was really rude and immature of the ballroom. I mean, this is dancing. Can we, like, leave politics out of the Finer Things Club, please? Then they were all, the weird part was they were all like, oh, applauding for her when the camera was on. Did somebody turn on the applause sign? Because this crowd is like Pavlov's dogs. Come on. Margaret, Cho, and Louie were up next with their Jive. I'm happy for her that she can leave the comedy at home now and just feel free enough to dance. I thought she did a really good job. She put her all into it, and I thought it showed, and I really thought she got robbed by the judges because she only ended up with an 18, and I think she definitely put more into it than that. Kyle Massey up next with Lacey. They had their Quickstep. He brought the fun again and not much technique. But it didn't matter because everyone loves him because his personality is so bubbly, and he ended up with a 22. Kurt Warner and Anna Trebunskaya. They had a Jive. It was not horrible. In fact, I really thought he was an improvement from last week, but he still only ended up with a 21. The Situation and Karina. They had a Quickstep. He is just so goofy. Come on, people. It was a train wreck with no survivors. Carrie Ann, really? Did you really need to say that he was a little bit pigeon-toed in front of everyone? Couldn't you have taken him aside and have, like, I'm sure he hasn't heard that anyway. Thanks a lot, Sherlock. Captain Obvious. They ended up with an 18. So Bristol Palin and Mark Ballas closed the show. She brought him home to meet Mom. It was kind of weird. I don't know. It was just a really weird show tonight. They had a Quickstep. Her footwork was really great. I thought that she is really starting to loosen up, and I'd like to see her continue. So I hope people vote to keep her on the show. I know there's been some comments, like on Twitter and stuff like that, but grow up, people, She's her own person. So she ended up with a 22. So tomorrow night, Seal and Janelle Monae should be a good show. Plus, they're going to have some kind of Massey Stars of Dance extravaganza where they're going to be building this special stage and dancers will be flying, and it's going to be cool. And also, I'm going to be on WBAL in Baltimore tomorrow morning at 6:20. They're probably going to replay it. If you want to try and check it out, you can listen live, WBAL.com. And I will see you tomorrow for the results show. Till then, much love.